Hello world, it's Metro Malik, and it's another edition of What's the Haps Lansing, and I'm going to change that to an exclamation point. This is not a question, this is what's happening, and I'm so excited to be here as the People's Champ, and we're going to put that right here. And in studio today is Kathleen Edgerly, the Executive Director of Downtown Lansing Inc. I'm so glad you were able to find time in your schedule. Absolutely. Super excited to have this conversation. Well, I mean, it's important. It's Lansing, and you're downtown. I'm downtown. You're right in the heart of it. You're the face of downtown, or one of the faces. One of the faces. You have a great crew. Let's talk about you for a little bit. Let's get to know the person. Like, what's your favorite color? What's your favorite furry animal, if you have one? This is already a fun conversation. Obviously we went over. My name's Kathleen with a C. It's an important fact. Yes. I get the questions all the time. And it's 2 syllables. It is 2 syllables, Kathleen. I've been serving as the Executive Director of Downtown Lansing for 11 months, but with our current state of affairs, it seems like years. Been in downtown life, though, truthfully, 4 years in various communities. Favorite color, hot pink and black. Oh, that's... Like, I can't just choose one. Yeah, but I get it. It's like the combination of... Yeah. Furry animals. I mean, I love dogs, but penguins, not furry, feathery. Feathery. It's my jam. All right. And then you have a family. I do have a family. You live in Lansing, sort of. I mean, yes, I do live just west of the city limits. I apologize for that. I recognize it, but I do love my house. It's an adorable house. I took the portrait, so that was nice to be able to do that, so thank you. But you're in Lansing Township. It's all, a lot of people don't even know where that dots. That is true. So, only if you're in the world, in the know, do you know where that dot is. And born and raised in Lansing. Obviously now raising my family here. Husband's a teacher in Mason, but we spent a lot of time here in the capital city. That's fantastic. And then you were at DLI before. I was. And then you kind of... I took a hiatus. Did something else. Had the opportunity to serve as Executive Director of Downtown Howell for just over 5 years. Yeah. Great learning experience, growing experience. As a community, we were recognized as being one of the top downtowns in the U.S., so it was wonderful, of course, to be a part of that. But strangely enough, that wasn't necessarily the highlight. It was more doing some really cool projects that focused on sense of place and getting very creative and shifting the perspective for Howell, for those that live there as well as those that visited there, and getting people to interact with the community in a different way. So that lends to kind of goes to the question that I would ask, what does a Main Street organization do? Mm-hmm. And without getting too deep into it, the organization that you work for is a Main Street organization. So there's an umbrella. Yes, there is a state and national umbrella to Main Street organizations that really focus on people-led projects and activities, programming, focusing on our businesses and the people that run those businesses, focusing on the people who choose to live in our downtown, and the reasons why they choose to live there, looking at creating an overall exciting, welcoming environment for all, and to get to the heart of it, if you will, connecting people to the community that they live in, creating that strong sense of place. They love it, they want to be a part of it, and they have a voice as part of it as well. Right. So that organization, that Main Street thing, is kind of like a blueprint, kind of like some best practices that you can utilize to customize to your specific area. Absolutely. Yep. It provides that framework so that you're focusing on different areas of design and aesthetics, public spaces, the promotion side of things, the organizational, foundational elements, as well as the business development, recruitment, and retention efforts too. All right. So that explains what Downtown Lansing, Inc. period does. Yes. Right? And in a very compact, succinct nutshell of like you're there to promote the good and fun
And that's fun in doing it, but it takes a lot of work.
It really does.
And there's a lot of requirements. There's a lot of ways that things are supposed to be done, not only as a Main Street organization, but as an organization itself. Mm-hmm. And then specifically dealing with your specific needs. And Lansing has an interesting thing.
It does have a unique mix and approach as the capital city. I mean, mostly the way people interact with the downtown currently have been our daytime workers that are coming into downtown to work at state, city offices, government, etc. So we have to balance the needs of the daytime worker with that 24/7 experience of our residents, and then continue to reach and grow for what we want to continue to evolve to be, and so that it continues to be relevant and accessible to all years down the road.
All right, so perfect. All right, now we've gland-handed everything, right? Mm-hmm. And gave a good overview, right? Yep. And then you were the leader of the ship, right?
The coxswain, right? We'll talk in career terms. I help provide a direction, and then we all have to come together to make it work.
Okay, so with that being said, and I'm not wearing the Lansing Made shirt today, but you can see the logo right there. Mm-hmm. We have some challenges.
We do.
And we've had challenges before this COVID jerk came into the world. I had no disrespect for anybody that's lost anybody, but COVID is a jackhole, and it's wrecking havoc. And so even in best scenarios, we're working with a lot of different things. But I think what people need to recognize is the positive changes that have happened in the last 5 years, 10 years, right. 15, 20 years. And I liken it to when, not original Tropo, but Tropo 2.0 or 2.5 ended up at the circle, southeast quadrant of Michigan and South Washington Square, and how it was really, really, really quiet, tumbleweed quiet.
Yeah.
And then within a couple of years, I'm like, oh, there's people out at like midnight doing things. Some bars filled in along the way, some eateries filled in along the way, and we had this cool little pocket of like this energy happening. Mm-hmm. And those are the kind of things that we work toward.
Absolutely. Work towards, as I said, making it accessible, welcoming. There's a diverse business mix for all times of the day for people to enjoy and experience in one way or another. And while we're in an interesting pocket, not just due to COVID, but other factors as well, there are plenty of wonderful experiences and community spaces to enjoy those experiences, as well as businesses for people to get out. And I know I'm guilty of this and have been in the past. There's times that you take your own community for granted and you forget, like, oh, that felt really special. So something that we've been doing as part of our recovery efforts that'll be ongoing for quite some time with COVID is getting people to fall in love with different elements of their city again, and especially in the downtown. So anything from, hey, I didn't recognize that we have a comic and game store here where you can get unique board games, things of that nature for kids of all ages. Rotary Park, great community space. Right now, while a lot of things are shuttered, there's outdoor yoga classes and stand-up paddleboarding classes happening there. It's a great place to exercise or hang out on the beach with your family, dine outside so you can get takeout from a eatery or bring your own picnic and enjoy that space. The fountain is back on at Rotary Park, and that's just a beautiful and nostalgic thing that we have as part of Lansing's history as well. And then just continuing down the street, there's newer places like Bodie's and On V, and then those mainstays like the Tropos, Kelly's Irish Pub, that are open and waiting to serve you in a safe manner.
Yes. So I think that is the perfect segue, better than what I could have done, about a recent event, Fresh Taste, Lift Up Local. So we did a little bit of promo, so here's a kind of piece.
Yeah.
Talking about that. So let's go take a look at that and then come back and talk some more about downtown. So thank you, Kathleen, for being here. Check this out, peeps.
Businesses in downtown Lansing who are normally dependent on the presence of state workers have had to endure an extended lull in business due to the number of people working from home. Downtown Lansing Inc. created an event in an effort to support as well as celebrate some of these businesses.
It's important to come out and lift up our local businesses because over the last few months, they have faced insurmountable challenges with both courage and heart. They need our support now more than ever.
Kathleen, please explain the event that was created to showcase some of what's great about downtown Lansing.
Yes, Fresh Taste of Downtown Lift Up Local Week is happening July 13th through the 18th. We're inviting the entire community to come out and experience a whole new take on downtown, as well as lift up and support our local businesses, but in a way that you feel comfortable and safe doing so. We have downtown digital passports that get you access to a week of specials at surrounding downtown businesses, as well as a virtual scavenger hunt, some music in the park, paddle down the river, or taking a drive-in movie. We're reimagining our downtown spaces and places.
Brandon Navin, founder and creator of the performance organization The Artist's Umbrella, talks about its role during the event.
I'm the founder of The Artist's Umbrella, and all week we were posted up in downtown Lansing for Fresh Taste and Lift Up Local Week, featuring local artists, belly dancers, poets, musicians, saxophone quartet. So yeah, just posted up in downtown Lansing featuring local artists. We believe in downtown Lansing. We believe in Lansing. We believe in the creatives in Lansing and adding value to the arts.
All right, so that was a little talk about what was happening last week or so of the Fresh Taste. Now, how did that come about? I put you as the host of it, but it wasn't just Downtown Lansing Inc. that put that together. How did that come together?
You know, I say a lot and have through the years, it takes a community to build a community. And I say that even though it sounds kind of like, wait a second, what? It takes a lot of people coming together, willing to think outside the box, get creative, and be very nimble and flexible, especially in these times, of what can happen, how to safely implement it, and what makes sense for the average consumer as well. So we talked about it. We already knew one of the longtime downtown events, Taste of Downtown, was going to have to get some sort of refresh just based on the feedback that we were hearing through the years. And so we had piloted it as a fresh taste of downtown. And then COVID hit. Surprise. But the name plays very well into that as well, because our new reality dictates a whole fresh and different approach. Our team is fresh. Some of the businesses that are going to be opening their doors will be fresh. And we have to take a fresh take on how you can safely engage and interact with the downtown in a way that you feel comfortable in doing so. So it's working not only with our businesses, but other community partners to really focus on this lift up local effort.
So who were some of those community partners?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have partnerships with Lake Trust Credit Union. They've done a number of small business grants with us. And when we talked about this shift in approach, they were on board with that as well, because again, it's a small business, choose your own adventure at the end of the day for that week. We had Loomis Law Firm as well, Michigan Premier Events partnering on that. Of course, our city crews that are doing things like shutting down the alleys for us and blocking off parking spaces so that we can add additional outdoor seating. When I say we, again, community partners. Downtown Lansing, it might come up with a design concept, but you've got the Capital Area Housing Partnership out there. We've got REMAX helping provide some of the funding for Artery Alley. We've got the Lansing Public Media Center helping make sure that we can host a drive-in movie experience downtown. So many people, and I know I'm going to forget them, so I'm just going to quickly
hold on a second.
Yeah.
I'm going to go for a minute.
Do it.
You showed in downtown during what is one of the most tumultuous times in the United States of America in current history, Do the Right Thing. How did that come about?
We've definitely been asked that question numerous times. And it was one of those things that, if I'm totally honest, we knew it would be a little bit of a risk. But when you look at the arts and you look at films like Do the Right Thing, it's the perfect mechanism and opportunity to get people to pause, think internally, maybe think a little differently than they otherwise would have, because something in that resonates with them and makes you go, I never thought about it that way, while it's still entertaining. And we all have a choice in life, right? We can take issues like this head on, acknowledge that they exist, and find a way to reach that broader audience and start difficult conversations while bringing people together. So this was honestly one of the easiest ways to do that, because like I said, arts and films like this, you're getting a different perspective, you're getting multiple perspectives, and it's also entertaining you as well. And it's a new way for us to interact with different spaces in the downtown. So it's kind of like the perfect trifecta when we sat down as a group and talked about our choices. Somebody pointed out to me, they said, Kathleen, other communities or organizations probably would have chosen something like Star Wars or Sleepless in Seattle. And I just responded, yeah, they would have.
That's so safe. That's so ordinary almost, right? It's almost cliche.
Yes.
And when I saw that, like, as I was delving into what Fresh Taste was going to be and stuff like that, I was like, hold on a second. That's going to be their final, like, little thing. And I mean, I'm not going to do it into the microphone and mess up the ears, but I was like, yes.
Thank you.
It is so necessary. And it's a great film. And I hope that people that might not have seen it in the past, like 30 years or whatever, how long has it been out? 20 years? 20 something years?
You're going to make me do math. I feel like it's too early for that.
It came out in like 87, 86, 87. So it's been there for a while. And I know, you know, you talk about that kind of film, especially when you add the name Spike Lee, there's a certain audience for that, right? Mm-hmm. But it's a great piece of art. The music, the way it was done, some of the Spike Lee techniques that he uses are very prominent in this piece. And of course it does have a Spike Lee slant, but I think that was one of his films that he kind of showed. He showed the different, things. Yeah. And great. So I really hope people took advantage of being able to see that and have fun with it. And I hope people talk about that for a long time. So I applaud you, your crew. You're doing the things. You're stepping outside the norm.
Thank you.
And doing that. All right.
I'm just going to add. Yeah. I mean, that's what Fresh Taste and the whole week was about. Yeah. We've got to address the current situation in which we're living and take things heads on, right? Yeah. And do what we can to support the diverse makeup that makes up our community. It is about the people who live and work here.
Yes. So in the piece that we just watched, Brandon of the Artist Umbrella talked about that specifically in the artist realm of things. Like Lansing Arts is like great, it's prominent, and it does the thing. And I know like his organization, for as new as it is, whoa.
They had some amazing talent. And I'm glad you brought that up, because Lift Up Local Week was more than just from a business perspective. It was, here are all these local artists, whether they're poets, musicians, visual artists, things of that nature, that all were like, this is downtown Lansing. This is our home, and we want to be a part of it in some way. And the artists that were painting the alley in Artery Alley and the music that's being played there, you know, it's a great celebration of community, where we are, and yet where we can go as well.
And hearing their voices, and when I say hearing their voices, whether it be visual art or vocal or performance or music, like hearing those voices and the excitement and exuberance of just being able to express the multitude of moods was fantastic. I had a chance to be able to see a couple of things and see a few artists on a couple of different days. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to get out of my office. I'm going to go down there because this is why it's here. And it was great. And then seeing how Brandon has been able to, this is what I called it, the most motley crew I have ever seen. And I said that when I first experienced their show. I said, look, you guys, I don't know where you came from. You've been here the whole time. But as a room full of these people, with the most respect, this is the motley crew I had ever seen. And it was so fantastically amazing that even as many times as I performed, I was a little gun shy.
Yeah.
I was a little like, I don't know if is this
okay at this level?
Am I at this level? Am I here? Is this my audience? Am I gonna, and I've done a couple of different things with them, and they've been polar opposites myself, but it was the one place that I knew it would be okay. And so, hats off to that crew.
Absolutely. They harness a lot of passion and pride and strong sense of self in that room in so many different personalities. It's a wonderful thing to see.
And bringing it back, that's Lansing, yo.
It is Lansing,
right?
Absolutely, yes.
That's Lansing.
So we got to continue to just lift that up and give that sense of ownership, fostering that passion and pride, and then just watch out. So many amazing things are going to continue to happen.
And you paid the artist.
We paid the artist. It's very important to do that.
They paid the artist.
Okay. Well, I had a photographer. This is I guess I'm an artist, but it took me a long time on a personal level to say, this is worth something. I am worth something. This, whatever this item is worth something, and I don't have to give it away. And if somebody doesn't want to pay for it, that is totally okay.
Right.
And I talked to a young artist that was connected to the Artist Umbrella, and I said, you took cool pictures of me. I'm paying you for that. He goes, no, you can have them. I said, apparently you didn't hear me.
Right.
You got up, got your camera, took your time, learned your camera and your craft well enough for me to go, whoa, that's a good picture that represents what I did. I won it. And so that's worth money. And he's like, well, no, you don't have to pay it. And I finally, in my Malik, I'll just tell him myself, in my Malik using curse word way, I told him to stop talking and take my money. Is that fair?
I think it's fair. And,
and he laughed. He's like, thank you so much. I'm like, dude, it's worth something. And so know your worth. And so that's why hearing what happened, how it happened, I'm like, this is the way it's supposed to be. So how can we lift up Lansing? I know we have challenges and stuff like that. So what are you, as, what did you call yourself? Not the captain,
coxswain.
But the coxswain.
Right, you guide the ship a little bit.
What are some things on the horizon for Lansing? Like, we're in the middle of summer. We're in the middle of we're not. I don't know where we are in COVID. We're in the beginning of COVID. In Lansing and downtown, the businesses are having, like, the first time ever, they're actually vocally going, I don't know what's going on. Like, they're willing to say that so on the forefront.
And that's important, though, because everybody, to some extent, is at that point. And so when you talk about what's on the horizon, I can't say definitively this is the next step, but I can say Lift Up Local in that week's efforts brought about some really interesting and wonderful stories and experiences I think are going to then take it a step further in getting people to surround and support those local businesses, again, in a way they feel comfortable, because we're going to be navigating this for some time, and not every business are open in the same respect. So we'll have to get more creative with technology and telling stories in a visual way and working with partners on that, and highlighting those faces and places that make up our community. And we'll see how it continues to evolve.
All right. So take off your executive director hat. What would you like to see Lansing do?
Oh, how to summarize that in just a few words. Believe in itself fully. And really, I mean, if I had to look at one area, our riverfront is a huge asset. How can we get people to embrace that even more so? There's been a lot of great steps along the way. And I'd love to see all of us that are in our different pockets of the Lansing working together even more closely. There's been some tremendous efforts and steps from a lot of different folks, but we're all stronger truly when we work together. So we also need to be cognizant of that and do that too.
Shout out to Rivertown Adventures. Go kayaking.
Shout out to Rivertown. And they have night kayaking. You can light your boat up. That's sweet.
So we got some challenges, and I know you're talking about them,
every day.
Nightlife and stuff like that. Like, and I know it's kind of weird to talk about nightlife right now when you can't really go to the bar. But what kind of things are you working on to say, hey, there's still stuff going on? I mean, is that something that...
I have to believe, in order to get some sleep at night, too, that every one of these challenges, especially COVID, has a little bit of a silver lining. Those of us that have lived in Lansing our whole life, my family's generations, my grandfather had a barbershop on Michigan Avenue, families lived and worked downtown, things of that nature. When you talk about what is a challenge for Lansing, so many people focus around the downtown and it not being open later, or not having enough of a diverse business mix, meaning that retail experience along with the dining, along with the nightlife, and feeling like it's there for them. And it took us decades and generations to get where we're at. Not that it's necessarily in a bad spot, but I think we could all agree that it can always be better. And so with COVID and so many office workers no longer being downtown during the day, therefore our businesses are suffering because they're missing that daytime traffic. This is an opportunity for us to go, hey, wait a second. Let's pause, guys, and think about what little things we can do now that'll lead to then bigger things, and suddenly 10 years down the road, it's not so suddenly, but still, it's a whole different experience downtown. It's a different interaction. We're enjoying it, engaging with that, use that word a lot, in a very different way. Does it just need to serve a daytime population? How do we shift these spaces and these efforts to really provide more of that 24/7 experience with more residents feeling like, this is mine. This is my hometown. I'm going to go out and walk. I'm going to raise my family here. I'm going to go experience at all sorts of different times a day. And it's harder in an urban community, especially when you're the capital city. But there's a lot of people who are dedicated to that. I am. You can see it. There's not necessarily one clear path, but that's what's beautiful. It's a lot of different people's visions and paths, and they have to converge and come together so that we can get there.
All right. So there you have it, folks. We're going to get there. Kathleen, bless you. Thank you. I am so glad you're here.
Thank you for having me.
I'm so glad you made the choice and was able to figure out, and something was able to come to happen, that you were able to do the thing that you're doing right now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You made the choice. You wanted to do something, and then this came up, and here you are.
Yep.
Woo. Lansing's lucky to have you.
I appreciate that so much.
All right. So it's Metro Malik. Champ is here. It is What's the Haps Lansing. You can find me on lansingmade.com and all those things. My contact information is all over the place. So if you have a question, comment, concern, or want to see something on this show, let me know. And we're looking forward to talking to you, with you, and working together to help lift up Lansing.
Lift up Lansing.